Roe v. Wade has been overturned. I can't say I'm surprised. Over the past 4 years, women have recognized the coming danger and begun preparing. I recall having a conversation with one of my professors at the end of the school year. I'd had her at least 4 or 5 times, but this was the first time that we had had an actual conversation about anything besides assignments. We talked in depth about a lot of things, but what stuck with me the most was our discussion about women's rights. Being a liberal arts college, of course, there were prerequisites about including all the genders and the like, but that fell away as she lowered her voice and wondered aloud about what she could do. She suggested helping women get to Mexican clinics by crossing the border. When I asked about the potential danger of getting caught, she shrugged. Better to risk jail time than to do nothing at all. I wish other women were that bold, because here's the thing. I've seen the signs for marches, the calls to stockpile Plan B and at-home abortifacient. I've seen posts spreading information about how to safely acquire an abortion or avoid being prosecuted afterwards, spread across social media even faster than COVID in a convention center. And most recently, I have seen a few bring up the possibility of abstinence as a way of personal protection and as a means of protest. Unfortunately, I have also seen major criticism of the idea of avoiding sex acts that can cause pregnancy. Abstinence does not need to be only a tool of purity culture, but can be used as a way of protecting yourself in a climate where forced pregnancy and potentially death or jail time could occur as a result of unprotected sex. After all, sex does not have to be only PIV, and there will always be a greater risk for women who partake in vaginal sex with men. Not only is there a risk of pregnancy, but women are more likely to suffer yeast and bacterial infections as well when sexually active with a man. Women are also at risk of being murdered by their partners, with femicide being the 4th leading cause of death for females 1 to 19 years old and the 5th leading cause of death for women 20 to 44. In 2018, 92% of cases involved women or girls killed by a man they knew, which puts confirmed American gendered killings happening at a rate of almost 3 women per day. To be quite honest, practicing separatism and removing all males from your life is the safest route to take, even if you are remaining celibate or partaking in only non-penis and vagina sex acts. Single women are actually happier, healthier, and live longer than their coupled up and kid-having counterparts. This is due to women tending to have stronger social networks outside of their romantic relationships than men do, or in other words, having more and closer friendships than married women or men in general. Not only will you be happier by removing men from your life, but you'll be safer as well. Pregnant women in the United States die by homicide more than they die of pregnancy-related causes, and they're frequently killed by a partner. From 1980 to 2008, nearly 1 out of 5 murder victims were killed by an intimate partner. In fact, available research shows that women are more likely to be killed by an intimate partner, husband, boyfriend, same-sex partner, or ex, than by anyone else. South Korean feminists have already realized this, and their solution is the 4B or 4No movement. In order to criticize marriage and gender roles, the members of this movement choose to forego sex, child-rearing, dating, and marriage of men, and in 2019 claimed to have over 4,000 members. Most recently, many advocates for female reproductive care have suggested going on a sex strike as a form of protest and for personal protection. While I do believe that abstaining from relationships with men is the safest choice for a woman, I am also aware that it will not work as a form of protest. Not only are many women unwilling to commit, and in fact are offended by the suggestion, but I'm also aware that it's easier said than done, and it's important to recognize that a sex strike will not cause governmental pressure or enact systemic change. At best, it is an ounce of prevention in order to resist infection by the social misogyny epidemic. Abstinence is a personal choice that can have powerful effects in a woman's personal life, and it is true that the personal can be political, but it is not going to solve the absolution of Roe v. Wade, and can at best be considered a possible preventative measure for those who are attracted to men. Stockpiling birth control and abortifacient and deciding to abstain from PIV sex while doing so is also only a personal measure meant to prevent the individual from accidental pregnancy. It can do nothing for cases of rape, ectopic pregnancies, or simply allowing women to choose if they want to incubate a child for 9 months, which causes irreversible changes to a woman's body. While currently one can take birth control and use condoms as an additional preventative measure, it is likely that a woman's right to get birth control will soon be taken away, and likely other rights soon after. What we truly need is a call to action that places pressure on the government. But why, you may ask, is abstinence not a political solution? Well, for several reasons. I'm basing most of the script off of a wonderfully written post by Abortifacient who outlines various reasons why abstinence will not work in a post you can find in the description below. Number 1. Due to China's one-child policy and preference for male children, many female children were culled due to sex-selective abortion and infanticide. You can find survivors' accounts on many social media platforms showing how normalized it was to kill female children by putting needles into their heads or attempting to poison them. One long-term effect is a mismatch in population. Instead of remaining relatively equal, there are far more males than females. While some have resorted to outsourcing their brides from neighboring countries through human trafficking, many partnerless men have resorted to buying hyper-realistic sex dolls. This is the better solution to the problem, as many women will be unable to say no to begin with. If they try, the men they love and trust could very well become violent or resort to rape. Either way, it's obvious that men are willing to find other ways to slake their libido than consensual sex, meaning that social pressure is likely to be ineffective. Number 2. Would a sex strike truly affect the right audience? While there is a good cause for distrust in male allies who support abortion, as many do not see it as a matter of bodily autonomy and instead as a get-out-of-child-support free card, in the end, the ends matter more than the means. Democratic and liberal women who support abortion and who are willing to sex strike are likely already with Democratic pro-choice men. They are not the same as the conservative Republican men who voted to deny the right to abortion. Pro-life women would be the population who would need to sex strike to put pressure on their spouses, but that's extremely unlikely. Number 3. The way that the Supreme Court operates means that it is unlikely that another case will reach the Supreme Court anytime soon. Not only are Supreme Court justices for life, and therefore at least another 10 to 20 years, but they are appointed by the president. We have no say in who will replace them when they finally leave office. If a sex strike is meant to put pressure on men, what are they supposed to do about it? How long is it meant to last? It will be years until a Supreme Court chair is up for replacement, and likely years more before another case about abortion makes it to the Supreme Court. Let's say we're going for an out-of-bounds revolution, and instead we'd like to change how the Supreme Court is run. Let's say we want to make the Supreme Court change of shorter terms voted in for the people. Well, good luck. That sort of revolution will take far longer than women will want to go without sex. Lesbian feminists like myself are a bit lucky in that sense because I can find romance in the same sex. I lose nothing by cutting men out of my life. One of the reasons why separatism tends to be supported more by lesbians in the United States than opposite-sex attracted women. But women who like men like having sex with them. Perhaps if this was a short-term goal, like No Nut November, and we gave it a catchy slogan, then maybe some would participate. But a long-term boycott would not catch on in the same way that it's hard to convince women to give up makeup or self-objectification. And number 4. Due to the hypersexuality of American culture, many women view sex as being an important part of their lives. They pin part of their value and identity on sex and sex appeal, and unlike the other feminists of other countries, we simply do not have the class consciousness or ability to convince a large number of the population to give that up. In short, celibacy is a good thing, especially in a world where the right to abortion and self-autonomy has been taken away, where you are more likely to be killed by your own boyfriend than heart disease, cancer, or COVID. However, this is not going to solve the issue of abortion being outlawed. As we all know, you can never eradicate something just by making it illegal. Instead, women will resort to desperate measures and will die trying to access back alley abortions. Instead, women will be investigated as murderers whenever they have a miscarriage and will be hunted for bounties placed by the rapist and neighbors. The United States is broken. The people do not want this, but it doesn't seem to matter. No one is listening to what the people want. And isn't that the role of the government? This, dear viewers, is where we part. I feel so jaded about this topic, to be honest. I've mentioned this before that I work in a rape shelter, and I intend to, as soon as I get my degree and I am able to go full-time, I want to continue working in shelters like this. And while it is one of the most rewarding jobs I think you can ever have because of how you can help people, it is also incredibly difficult. Because I wonder now, are we going to have to take away the Plan B offering that we have? Are we going to have to tell someone who was raped that they don't get that choice? And I know that this topic it might seem like it's not that serious. It might seem like debating over whether separatism and abstinence is a good idea is just a thought experiment. But I sincerely think that these are the best tools that women can have to make sure that we're safe. I understand that women who like men, but I think you'd rather be alive, and it might be a difficult choice, but we should at least consider the possibility of both abstinence and separatism from men, at least until femicide is less prevalent, and probably longer after that. If you guys have any comments, concerns, or questions, please leave them in the comments down below, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.